entrepreneurs? Welcome back into my channel. I am excited to be here. I am sorry that I've been MIA for the last week, but if y'all didn't know, your girl is getting married in less than 30 days. And last weekend I went to Mississippi to have my my bridal shower, and it just took me a little while to get on track. So I'm getting married in a month. So if y'all see me kind of ebb and flow, I'm going to do my best to stay consistent during this time. But just know your girl is out here living her best life. All right. So today's topic is going to be talking about, should you franchise, right? Some pros and cons to franchising. If you guys didn't know, I am a former franchisee. I owned a Mayweather boxing and fitness franchise in Torrance, California from 2019 till 2022, sorry. So November 2019, I opened just 4 months before the worldwide pandemic came and shut everything down. And then I ultimately ended up closing that business in July of last year as a result of the pandemic, and just making the best decision for myself, for my life, for my business, to just go ahead and let it go, right? Sometimes the best decisions in business are the hardest ones. So let's get right into this video, giving you guys a little bit about franchising. What is it? Should you do it? What to look out for? Let's get into it. I believe in myself. I am in the right place at the right time all the time. My purpose is within me, and I am successful because I apply the knowledge that I receive. And I will tell you this, God does not expose you to something that is not possible for you. All right, y'all, so welcome back in. Let's jump into today's topic. All right, so what is franchising, first of all? I first learned about franchising when I was getting my master's in business administration, and I was learning about the pros and cons of business and the statistics about new small business owners, right? And them not making it past their first year in business. So I took that as a challenge, and I wanted to start my own business. It was either going to be food or fitness, right? And I got into the franchising with the gym is because I saw an ad, and I was boxing at the time, and I thought, hey, I would like to go work out at a Mayweather gym. And so I went in to look for a membership and ultimately ended up buying a franchise. So good sales on them. My good friend Maul is the one who got me into this business. So when it comes to franchising, the idea behind it, or the reason why I went into franchising, is because as a brand new business owner, I didn't know much about the ins and outs of how to run a business, how to market, all those things. And I knew that if going into a franchise, they would have all the groundwork pretty much done for me. The branding, the fonts, the logo, the marketing, the website, the lead generation platforms. All I needed to do was come into a business that is pre-made for me and just execute. And I am a huge executor, right? So that is kind of one of the pros to franchising, and one of the big reasons why I got in is because I wanted a business model that was already laid out for me to just implement, right? I work full time. I don't have time to, be figuring it out. I want it figured out for me and let me go implement to make some money. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to franchise versus starting my own personally branded business. I have learned almost everything that I know about running a business, particularly with employees, through franchising. So, or really just through this business experience, or this entrepreneurial experience. I learned so much about business, so much that I continue to use and take with me through my entrepreneurial journey in the other businesses and ventures that I run through. So one of the pros to franchising, or coming into a company that already has the groundwork laid for you, is just the ability to learn more without the learning curve, right? So that's one of the pros. If you guys didn't know, I was the number one studio in our company for the 2 years that we were operating. The issue is the pandemic, right? It was just so difficult being in California. one week they telling us to go outside, the next week they saying come in with a mask, the next week they saying okay, you got to be vaccinated. So it was just not a good time for us, even with, you know, PPP. It was just putting a band-aid on something that was already going downhill, because, you know, 4 months after the biggest spike in our business, we get shut down for another 4 months. So it was just hard to come back from. But another pro to franchising is that you likely will have access to mentors and people who want your business to succeed. So you can ask questions if you need help with something, if you have a question about marketing, if, you know, you're having issues with employees. Typically with the franchise, the corporate level staff will be able to support you, right? So you will have an ample amount of support. Now, I can't speak for every franchise, right? And every franchise is going to have their issues. My oldest sister also did a franchise for home health care. And she had a support system at the corporate level who wasn't as supportive as they, you know, said they were going to be. So it could be hit or miss. So I highly recommend, if you're considering franchising, to really interview and look at and scrutinize the corporate staff, right? Are you really going to be there to support me? What's your background? Do you really have the knowledge to help me succeed as a business owner? So that's another pro to franchising, is being able to have support at the higher level, versus when you open your own, you know, you're kind of out there figuring it out, and maybe you have a mentor, and if you don't, you should have one. That's great. But that's something that comes along with it. Now, one of the cons to franchising is, like, there's a buy-in, right? Depending on the type of franchise you're going for. When I came in very early on, I was one of the founding franchisees, so I only paid $25,000 to, you know, get in, and that is the franchise fee. So that's $25,000 if you to be able to operate under the brand, right? If they're trademarked, to be able to utilize that franchise name and operate under them. That's basically what the franchise fee is. And I don't know how it is over different companies, but it typically won't really pay for anything outside of giving you the rights to operate under that franchise. So there's typically a franchise fee. So that's one of the cons, right? If you were going to start your own business, you could spend that $25,000 on something totally different instead of just the rights to be able to use a name, because you are using your own name, right? So that's one of the cons that I would say going into franchising. Another one is that you don't get to be an individual when you franchise, right? You have to operate under the brand principles that company has already set out and did the hard work for, right? So when you open the gym, if their colors are black and gold, you can't say, well, I want my gym to be red, right? It doesn't work like that with franchising. You have to conform to the branding, the rules. You have to use, you know, their products, their materials, whatever the case may be. You have to conform to what their rules are in the fine print. So make sure that if you're looking to franchise and you want to franchise for a particular reason, you know, you will have some freedoms to be an individual and build your own culture within your business, but ultimately you have to conform to what the branding and the requirements are under that franchise. You are not an individual. So those are a few pros and cons to franchising. Ultimately, you know, franchising is a very unique and niche down type of business, and I won't advise you whether or not you should or shouldn't, because there are so many different franchises out there, so many different industries. So, you know, it really just depends on the overall package of the company that you're considering when it comes to franchising. But ultimately, if you're a brand new business owner and you're just trying to get your feet wet to understand what's going on, this will be a great place to start, so that you don't have to figure it out all on your own. You'll have a business model that's pretty much ready for you, and all you got to do is activate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions about franchising, feel free to comment below. Let me know. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.